Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to another Tin Dog podcast. This time, it's another interview from Whoverville. Unfortunately, I was off signing copies of Geek Myths, so I missed my chance to interview Mark in person. So here's an interview recorded at the convention itself. Mark Benton, the man who was, well, you'll hear in the interview.
Have you done anything like this before? This kind of nonsense?
Have I sat in front of an audience before?
Yeah. Have you? Do you realize what an audience is?
Yes. I've done one Doctor Who convention many years ago, but they weren't as nice as you lot, so very happy to be here.
Well, you've just got here. We'll see about that. Doctor Who, funnily enough, since I'm going to start with that, since it's why these people are here, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. Is it something you have your own childhood memories of before it comes to your profession?
Yeah, I do. And I think I was talking in the car on the way, and I think you always have your doctor, don't you? Because it's, your formative years. So mine would be John Pertwee going into Tom Baker, probably. So, but yeah, I used to love John Pertwee. He was great.
So, was it then a case that Doctor Who was something you were quite keen to be in when the offer came in of were interested in?
Well, it's a bit of a story, really.
Oh, good.
I had done a thing called The Second Coming, which Russell T Davies wrote. I played the devil in it, and I was away on holiday, and I was driving home from Devon or Cornwall or somewhere, and stopped at the services, and I got a phone call out of the blue from Russell saying, do you fancy, I'm doing Doctor Who, do you fancy doing an episode of Doctor Who? And I went, yeah, that'd be great, smashing. He said, okay, can you be in Cardiff tomorrow? And I was like, okay, so I drove home and then drove to Cardiff, and actually what had happened was Clive it was supposed to be Mackenzie Crook, and but Mackenzie was doing a play and he couldn't get out of it, so Russell had just rang me up and out of the blue and said, oh, do you fancy doing it? So of course I jumped at it, working with him and doing Doctor Who, obviously with Chris again, who I'd done Second Coming with.
You in Doctor Who, so you don't have any scenes with Chris?
I don't, no, but luckily with Billy, who's great.
Oh, she's fine,
yeah.
And then I was going to bring up The Second Coming and then I watched it again and went, I haven't got any scenes with Christopher Eccleston in that either.
No, I haven't. It's all the left out, yeah.
Have you met Christopher Eccleston? Can I just check?
Yes, I have. Yes, yeah. I've saw him many times on set. But yeah, so it was kind of out of the blue, and it was kind of right. Okay, you're starting. Away you go. And I love the experience, obviously, with Russell's writing. I mean, you all know how fantastic he is, and he's also a lovely fella as well. So it was great.
Now, I didn't know that Mackenzie Crook story.
Well, I like to keep a little tidbits for you.
So, because I was going to say, if I'd read that character brief, you would have been one of the first names to come to mind of that type. Do you find, as an actor, you get offered a type? Does it mostly you get the same, similar?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to get, Pierce Brosnan's part, am I? Yeah, I think to a certain degree, typecasting, and I've always been very. I remember when I was at drama school, someone had said to me, that was big. You're not worried about getting typecast, and I said, well, if I'm getting typecast, I'm working, so no, I'm not worried about it.
You mentioned Billy then. It's basically two-handed, really. It's a little
Yes.
piece within a piece. They were the two of you talking together. So that was the first recording block of the new. Nobody knew what it was going, whether it would die. I mean, David Tennant's always said I had to agree to take the Doctor on without knowing whether that last scene would be the only Doctor Who I'd ever get, because I might not got a second series at the time I had to answer. So nobody really knew what they were doing yet. Well, that doesn't sound right, does it? But you know what I mean by that. So, and they said they learned how to make Doctor Who, making that first block.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense of that, or was it just standard TV?
Well, it was pretty chaotic, if I'm honest with you. What happened was we shot some interiors, and then we went back to shoot. You remember the episode? So we shot this stuff in the shopping centre on night shoots later on. So I shot the bit where I talk about the Doctor from the past, and then I went away for about a week. And when I came back, Chris wasn't talking to the director. We'd only talked to the director and the first assistant, so they weren't having it. The first had left the job because I think what had happened was there's a double-decker bus stunt in it. I don't know if you remember that. Where it sort of spins this bus, and apparently nobody had told the camera crew this was going to happen, and so this bus came on the corner and literally span, and the camera crew were all like, oh, and I think the first was like, well, I'm not having this, and he went. So it was a bit odd when I went back, on top of the fact that it was a new thing, you know. So it was. I mean, I wasn't involved in anything, so I was happy to be there.
The shopping centre is your death scene. I think I might.
Or is it?
Yeah. Do you know? I was going to say that, but I watched it again yesterday morning, and I was going to say, well, you don't, because at that stage they were very keen not to show actual death in the show yet. And I was going to say, well, you don't see it, but watching it again, your wife looks at you and looks straight at you and goes, ah, it's. No, you're fine. Someone will correct me, trust me, they will. But Clive is the first proper character in New Who to get killed off, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, I'm not wrong. So
Well, what happened was, we did shoot, there is a shot of me dead on the floor, but I think what happened was the producer at the time said, let's not see that shot, just in case. Because I think the thing about Clive was he's like, I think he represents every Doctor Who fan, in that, you know, he went back through the history and he was a Doctor, he was a fan of the Doctor. So I think they just sort of wanted to leave it open-ended. I've not been back though, so.
Well, Russell, I don't know if this is a bad thing to say now, Russell always says he wishes he hadn't killed Clive off, as a character they'll use again and again.
I love Russell.
But he's decided he's dead now, so maybe because he saw that shot of the body, he'll have seen it. Maybe it's fixed in his head now.
Well, I'll change his mind.
Chris Chibnall, you've got to work on now. That's who the boss is now. But what's best? A good death scene or the chance to come back again the next time?
Well, I remember when I got the job, I said, yeah, I'll do it as long as I can come back as a monster later on, you know, with a rubber face or something. And I haven't been back, so.
Some people have had their second visible part now. Some people have come back to play somebody else, because that's...
Yeah, I know.
10 years.
I know.
But you had actually done Doctor Who prior to that, because you've been in Invaders from Mars with Paul McGann and...
Yeah, Big Finish, the spoken word.
Yeah.
Well, that was written by the magical Mark Gatiss, who I know very well. And I think we recorded that in Bristol, I believe, and I know Paul well as well, so that was great fun.
Yeah, it's a proper comedy star cast, and there's you and Simon Pegg, Jessica Stevenson as she was.
Brilliant. I mean,
Paul
brilliant.
Putner.
Yeah.
Brilliant people in it, yeah.
Paul Putner, what a wonderful actor.
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, I've met Paul quite a few times, it's great. And my favourite is The Curious Orange for Leon Herring.
Right, yeah.
And he played this bizarre Davros type orange, which is the magic of TV. And after doing TV Doctor Who, you then went back to Big Finish and worked with the mighty Tom Baker.
I did, yes.
And that was his first audio as well, so you seem to be in on all the firsts.
I'm in at the beginning. Yeah. Never get me back, I don't know why. They're great fun, you know, because they're very relaxed, obviously. And, you know, they've done so many that, you know, it's very professionally run, and you know, you go in and you do your stuff and then you leave, and you know, it's a lovely couple of days.
You get a nice lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you've done quite a lot of work with Vic and Bob, and Tom did Land on Hobgoblin. Did you meet Tom on that, or did you not meet him until?
No, the first time I met Tom was on that. Yeah, no, Randall. I don't think I met. He wasn't.
You didn't have any scenes together, then?
No, I never met Tom on that.
You're not doing very well with working with doctors on TV.
I know. First time I met Vic and Bob, but I worked with. I know Dave Tennant really well. We did a play together called Hurly Burly. So I worked with a couple of them.
But not John Pertwee, unfortunately.
No, not John Pertwee. Loved him.
I'm trying to work out some way a Big Finish can sort that out. Now we'll get back to you. Would the idea of playing the Doctor be of any interest to you? I'm not in a position to offer you the job, just
yes. I mean, you know, what a tremendous thing to do. I mean, it's, you know, I can't say better than that.
It's the bizarre part in the Radio 2 because it's a lead part, but it's also a character part, which isn't that common for it to be both.
I think you know, you have to find something. You have to find your special thing, don't you? All the Doctors have their own special thing where you go, oh yeah, Tom Dick's got this scarf, and so yeah, I would have to find my own special thing. Maybe just a crash helmet and a pair of wellies or something.
But for the scene.
Just the crash helmet wellies, nothing else.
Moving on.
It's not something you want to think about.
So, leaving Doctor Who for the moment, don't panic. Thinking of you, what first gave you that sort of your special thing? What was your inspiration in the first place? Was it always I want to be an actor, or did you have another childhood ambition?
No, I always wanted to be. Well, what happened was my uncle's an actor, and when I was little, he used to come back in the summer holidays with his best friend. There was a guy called Michael Beck. Does anybody remember The Warriors, the film?
Oh yeah, Walter Hurd.
Yeah. Well, he is the handsome blonde guy in The Warriors. So they used to come back, and I used to be like, oh my God, I want to be like you. Fantastic, you know, and it sort of stuck. And
would we know your uncle? Would that?
He's called Michael Gunn. He's done quite a few things. He was in Emmerdale for a while.
The name rings, but I can't instantly.
Yeah, you'd probably recognise his face. But yeah, I wanted to be like, and then I was always sort of in a band or acting, and then I tried for drama school when I was 18. And they laughed at me, and then I tried again when I was 20, and I got in, and then left for big old London.
And you just went from the moment that you felt, I'm doing it now, it's happening.
I always try to stay excited about it. You know, I think it's hard when you're in the acting world, because it's a tough world, and I think you get knock after knock, and you have to be tough, and so I try not to. I try to be excited when I get jobs, and I think when I left drama school, I got a job at the National Theatre before I left, and I remember ringing my mum up, and I said, "Oh, Mum, I've got a job. Do you know, what is it?" I said, "It's the National Theatre, Mum." She went, "Is that good?" Yeah, I got that, and then I was I did a program called Boone with Michael Elphick, and I like to describe myself as a semi-regular comedy cameo. I was a sort of security guard, and I did that, and then I went on tour with the RSC, and just kind of grafted, and it still feels like graft now.
Well, thanks very much.
No, not now. Obviously now this is easy.
Now I'm glad that you've made it, because I was worried that you might get caught up in the temporary traffic lights at the end of Piper Street, King Road, near the brewery.
McVitie's, yeah.
Early doors. I enjoyed an excuse to sit and watch all of it again. Have we all seen Early Doors?
Yeah.
And if not, if you could go and come back again in about 12 episodes time, come back.
Yeah, it's I don't know if any of you know, but it's live. It's gonna.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Has that started? I think, hasn't it?
It's just started, yeah, and I'm gutted because I couldn't do it because I'm filming a thing called Shakespeare in Hathaway, which starts filming Monday, so I wasn't available. So that was,
That wasn't. Did they check in with everybody to see can you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just gets difficult, I think, when everybody's off doing stuff. And I remember that Craig Cash was at an award ceremony, and James McAvoy was there, and James said to him, he said, if you do another series, I'll come back and do it. So it was one of those programs that we all loved it, and we all became proper friends through it. So I'm heartbroken I couldn't do it, the live one.
Well, I was going to say, what are your memories of it? But having seen the outtakes, I think your memories of it would just be of laughing.
Oh yeah, and we used to sing all the time. The whole set, we used to just sing all the time. And there's a scene in it where there's a scene in it where we're all eating breakfast, and we were smoking a cigar. I think it might have been actually. No, I think it was when we came back from the Big Boys Beano, and James McAvoy was smoking the cigar, and he choked on the cigar, and we were all laughing at him, and it's still in there. So it was a great job to do.
All the DVDs have got the outtakes, and there's a bit and a bit, and this bit and that bit, and then it gets to that breakfast, and I think they just let it play because even when the camera's on somebody, everybody else is roaring the laughter off the other side. It's just chaos.
Yeah, there was a lot of gigglers in that one. Most of us were gigglers, so it didn't take much to set us off. It doesn't take much to set me off anyway, so.
I will promise you, I will get down to the pickles question, but I'll just check with the audience. Thank you, one bit, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll see you later. Would anybody like to shove their hand up and ask a question? Right there.
Do you like circuses?
Circuses. What are we chatting about, Joan? Yeah, no, I love it. I remember I bought a carpet,
I bought a rug in Manchester.
and I was standing at the corner waiting to get a lift, and this van pulled up with these two skinheads in the van, and they just stopped right next to me, and they were just staring at me like this. And I'm thinking, oh God, they're going to get out. And it was ages till the lights changed, and then eventually the lights changed. Just as they were moving off, the guy went, "Do you like circuses?" So you never know who's a fan of the show. It's there's little catchphrases like "to the regiment" and things like that.
I wish I was there.
Exactly.
Anybody else want to quote Early Doors and ask a question?
About Early Doors as well. Was there any improv? It seemed really natural. It seemed a lot natural. I think one of those moving things I've ever seen on TV where the landlord, they stepdaughter's been searching for a real dad. He said, "Oh, it's fine." He went back to the place he can. Really brilliant.
Yeah.
Where was anything natural?
Most of it was scripted. That's the brilliance of Craig Cash and Phil Neely. It's one of the very few programmes I've ever done that I can stomach watching myself again, because I think even though I was in it, when I watched it again, there's gags in it that I didn't get the first time round.
Incredibly moving.
Yeah, I love the bit where Eddie and Joan, they collect the money to pay Eddie and Joan's phone bill, and then next week they have to do it again because they've used the phone, they've raised the phone bill by bringing everybody to thank them. So, but yeah, no, I guess my character was slightly, because my character Eddie and Joan, originally Joan didn't speak, and then we sort of levelled it out a bit, and there was lots of stuff where I kind of thought, well, that's probably better if Joan says that, and that kind of developed, and the way my character was in it that was all kind of, I don't know where it came from, but mostly the brilliance of Craig and Phil.
But at the end of the day, they're probably the happiest two characters in the piece because they adore each other, husband and wife who love each other. And everybody else is cheating and doing and this and that, but they just sit together quite happy.
Well, I think that's one of the nice things about the show is that everybody accepted everybody. There was it wasn't a nasty. Obviously when the dad come in and things like that, but the regulars, they're all very accepting of like old Tommy and things like that. So I think it was just a nice feel to the show.
And as you said, collecting the money for it. But right at the end of the landlord punches because he's giving you a hard time, and you just go. Because it's that type of show that you go, oh dear, it's about to get nasty. Where's it going? Oh dear, what's he going to do? Oh yeah. But I love shows like that where you think, oh, actually, because it's not all sweetness and light, that might go unpleasant for a bit and then veer back again. Yeah.
This must be really bad for anybody who's not seen Early Doors.
Was that? Oh, I was a kid waiting. Hiya. Would anybody else like to volunteer?
What part you've been recognised for the night, and also how long did it take for people to stop thinking doctors and saying, I suppose you've got to do?
What part have been recognised the most for? It's a difficult one because I think it depends what you're in at the time. Obviously, that I did the adverts for Nationwide. That's a tricky one because you're on all the time. So people, like when I'm in a programme, unless you watch the programme, you wouldn't necessarily recognise me. But something like an advert, you're in all the time. I did the Paddington thing at Christmas, and that's on all the time. And but I guess what have I been most recognised for? Wow, quite a few really.
Early Doors based on this audience.
Yeah, Early Doors, or sometimes Doctor Who still. I did a thing called Catterick with Vic and Bob, which is popular with a lot of younger people. A lot of stuff with Robson Green I did, Christmas Lights, Northern Lights, Waterloo Road, Eddie the Eagle, lots of different. I mean, I've been very lucky to do such a lot of different stuff, because I've always tried to, I guess, radiate towards comedy, but I've always tried to do serious stuff as well, and sort of in my own little way, maybe keep people surprised,
Vic and Bob have come up a couple of times now. What are they like to actually work alongside, and how is it as chaotic as it seems it would be?
Yeah, they're mad. But I love them. They're completely oddball, but I think in the comedy world it can be quite difficult sometimes, because I think there's a lot of competition there, and a lot of comedians are very, I've got to be the funniest, I've got to be the best, and they're just not like that. They're just lovely people and quite shy, actually, in real life. But completely bonkers.
And I am aware that there are kids, but I've seen outtakes from Vic and Bob as well. It's a lot of laughing and not being able to look at them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want a good laugh and you've never seen it, if you go on YouTube and put in Catterick outtakes, you'll see an outtake of me basically that goes on forever, because I have to say a certain phrase which I won't repeat at the moment. But if you want a good laugh, go on YouTube. Catterick outtakes, because you'll see an actor in pain.
Well, I phoned up to Scotland this week and said hello and filled them in how I was doing. I told my brother who I was interviewing, but before I said your name, I said Liquor. Yeah. And I didn't need to wait. And I just knew that would be the easiest. Just before, yes. Waterloo Road, you mentioned. Now you've got a lot of scenes, I think, with Tommy Knight.
I do, yeah.
Who was. He was the companion in the Doctor Who spin-off, the Sarah Jane Adventures. He was the companion's companion, if you like. Yeah. So Doctor Who fans know Tommy from 4 or 5 years of that, and he's done a lot of events and things. What's Tommy like?
He's lovely. He's a lovely lad, and I adopted him in Waterloo Road, and so we had quite a lot of quite heavy scenes together. And he was great. He's lovely, and. I don't actually know if he's still acting. I think when I was working with him, he wanted to go off and be a doctor, I think.
It was similar in a way. The very first interviews I did, about 8 or 9 years ago, Tommy was one of the people I interviewed on my first day.
Right.
I've never met him since.
Yeah, I think he was talking about, not to be Doctor Who, obviously, to be an actual doctor.
I mean, he was still only 14 or something when I interviewed, and that was absolutely it. But I just watched The Hippopotamus, the Roger Allen based on the Stephen Fry novel, and he's 25, so in that he's still going.
Yeah. Well, so maybe he didn't. Maybe he was bitten by the acting bug. I forgot about being a doctor, so. I
wouldn't say him again and say, right, so did you get bitten by the acting bug, or did you fail your exams? Just what pitch was it?
I mean, the thing is, I think with a lot of actors now, I think that those days of, actors demanding this and storming about the set and being smashed all the time, those days are gone really, and I've been acting now for 28 years now, and I think in my 28 years I've worked with maybe 4 actors that I would not want to work with again. Faye Dunaway being one of them. But there's very few actors now that aren't really nice and just glad to be working.
I just, you know how bad somebody must be when you would have to name them there.
Oh, I don't mind, she was horrible. I did a film with her called Flick, and she was very unpleasant to everybody. And the director, wonderful director, was his first film. He managed to raise the money, and he ended up collapsing because he was upset. I mean, it wasn't a pleasant experience, and I think she wasn't very nice.
I know when you did Doctor Who, it was just starting, and as I say, things weren't going to plan. But from the 60s onwards, you'll hear the companions or the doctors of the Sun go saying, we had worked on enough shows as guests that we didn't feel particularly welcomed into, that we made the decision that any guest that comes into our show will be the regular. Hello, we're the regulars, you're our star this week. But sort of coincidentally, they all decided it as they went along. So Doctor Who has this thing of, no, it's up to us to make sure that everybody has a good time, because we'll enjoy ourselves. So there's no point in being...
Well, I've always tried to make people, if I'm a regular in something, make the guests feel as comfortable as possible, because, how many programmes have you watched where, you might have your main characters be brilliant, and then suddenly you'll get one guy in who's terrible, and the only thing you remember is the terrible guy, the terrible passerby, or... So I think it's really important to make people feel comfortable, and also, why are we doing it? We get paid for messing about and playing other people, so have fun doing it. That's what I say.
Escape being yourself for a while. If anybody does have anything else, just stick your hands up from now on and we'll spot them from the stage. Oh!
Can you tell us something about this Shakespeare Hathaway? I've only just learned this exists.
No, he can't, not yet. We're ending on that. No, actually, I'm only joking. That is your big hit within the last year or so. That's been a big thing for the BBC, daytime hit, which is a nice thing for them to get.
Yeah, for anybody who's not seen it, it's called Shakespeare and Hathaway, and it's me and Jo Joyner, and we're private detectives in Stratford. She's called Luella Shakespeare, and I'm called Frank Hathaway. And it's it was a massive hit for a daytime show. I mean, it got top 10 on iPlayer, and it was a lovely show to do. And I think the characters are good, and I think it's one of those shows where on your first series, again, like when I did Doctor Who, you just don't know. You just give it your best and hope that it works out. So yeah, we're doing a second series.
When you're making, can you not go, this is going to be good? Is it just a case of, I'm really enjoying doing this? You can't quite tell whether...
Well, I think the first one you do your best. You just do your best to make it fun, and we put me and Jo Joyner put loads of gags in, and it went down really well. It sold massively around the world, and it was a big hit, which was a great surprise and a thrill for us. So happily we're going to go. I'm about to start on Monday. We start filming series 2.
And that's day 1 of series 2 starting Monday.
Day 1 of series 2, yeah.
Steve Hatcher just said he would like Jo Joyner to be here, but she's doing Shakespeare and Hathaway. And we're like, no, she's not.
Yeah, I think. Don't think so.
I think you've misunderstood something there, Steve. I would like to thank you for doing the best Steve Hatcher cosplay I've ever seen. Thank you, I'm really pleased with that. But Jo Joyner actually, she bookended that first season of Chris's Doctor Who. You're in the first, or she's in there, and both get killed off, I'm afraid, yeah. So neither of them, she didn't get to come back either. So what's Jo like?
Oh, Jo's great. I mean, she's a fantastic woman, fantastic actress. you know, lovely, and amazing sense of comic timing as well. And I've got nothing but admiration for her.
Excellent. Please, we'll have her next year, that's what we'll do. We won't have you back, though, just to be clear.
Oh, no, really?
So that's what you're doing on Monday?
Yes, start that on Monday, yeah.
This is what you're doing now?
Yeah.
Photo studio is what you're doing next?
Yeah.
Have you got anything lined up for after Shakespeare and Have Me?
Well, what I did a movie which is coming out on the 30th of November called Anna and the Apocalypse, which you might enjoy. Young people might not enjoy it. It's 15, but it's a Christmas zombie musical. So
not again.
Yeah, you'll never have seen anything like this, but it's on general release, which is brilliant, and go and check it out if you can, because it's a great film. Make you laugh, make you cry, and it's got lots of gore in it as well.
No youngsters. There's a man holding a sign. I've got no idea what it says, but we're finishing now anyway. So it says 1, does it? And 1 minute. We have to go off in 1 minute, and it'll take me 3 to get up. So I saw the guest list for today, and I went, oh. But I didn't get to choose who I got to do. So I was delighted when I was given who I would have chosen to get to do.
Phew.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Matt. Thank you very much for coming along today. You'll be doing all the meeting and greeting and meeting these lovely people later. But until then, let's have Matt Benton.
I hope you enjoyed that. So again, thanks to Steve for a brilliant time at Whoverville. Hopefully I'll be making it to the big finish day, where I'll get to spend some quality time with my people. So until next time, be seeing you. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.